Hello students, hope you are enjoying your online classes and actively participating in the process. In the previous class, we have studied about Evelyn Glennie in the unit Sound of Music Part 1. Here in this unit Sound of Music Part 2, we are going to study about one of the most prominent Sahnai maestro, Ustad Bismillah Khan, and his biography. Let's talk about the lesson. The lesson is about Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was a renowned Sahnai player in India. He is a legend because he did something which has historical significance. He played the Sahnai on the day India got independence, that is 15th of August 1947, at the Red Fort before the Prime Minister of India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave his speech. Before that, Bismillah Khan played the Sahnai in order to signify something auspicious. Something auspicious for the whole country was about to happen. India was about to get freedom, and so on that occasion, Bismillah Khan played the Sahnai, and so he is a legend. Now, hereafter, we are going for the interpretation of the chapter. The story begins with Emperor Aurangzeb. Okay, Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. A few new words you might be pondering upon. Banned means prohibited. Shrill means very sharp. Unpleasant means something that you dislike. Now, the story begins with pungi. Pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the Sahnai. When the Mughals ruled India before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So, any musical instrument which is made with reeds like we have flutes, clarinets, they all are classified as pungi. So, pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. As Aurangzeb has banned all these reeded noise makers, he had banned pungi in his royal residence. No one thought that one day such noise makers, such instruments which made unpleasant sounds, would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. This barber took a pipe which was hollow stem. It was longer and broader than the pungi. He made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. If you have seen a flute, it is something like this. It is a pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. Then he blew air into the pipe and closed and opened different holes. He found that soft and melodious sounds were produced when he did like this. When the barber played this instrument in the royal court, everyone liked the sound produced by it. The royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi and so it should have a different name also. Now there is a story behind the name given to the instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah was a name given to king. Shah was a name given to king. Mughals called the kings as Shahs. Mughals used to call the kings as Shah. As the Nai, that is the Indian term used for a barber, and had played it for the first time, they called it Sahnai. As the Nai, that is the Indian term used for a barber, had played it for the first time, they called it Sahnai. So the first part is Sah, which stands for Sah, and the second part Nai, that is a barber. So this instrument was named as Sahnai. The sound which was produced by Sahnai was considered to be a good omen, and so it was played on good occasions. You can hear Sahnai being played at many temples and at weddings also. The Sahnai was a part of the Naubat. The Sahnai was a part of the Naubat. Naubat is an Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble, that means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. Naubat is an Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble, that means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. These 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court and Sahnai was also a part of Naubat. The Sahnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at weddings. It was used on the stages, in performances, and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Sahnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Sahnai. When Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he lived and he lived in an old estate named Dumraon in present day Bihar state. He used to play danda. He used to play gilli danda. He used to play gilli danda, gulli danda, and old sport, quite similar to cricket. When Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he lived in an old estate named Dumraon in present day Bihar state. He used to play gulli danda and old sports quite similar to cricket. Also, he would go to the nearby Biharji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would sing the song Chaita in Bhojpuri language. Bhojpuri language is spoken in the area of Bihar. When he would finish reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as reward, and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was a prize given to Bismillah Khan by local Maharaja for singing the Chaita. The writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward. And after 8 years, Bismillah Khan earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this is the distance that he has travelled in his life. At 5 years of age, he would get a 1.25 kg laddu. At 5 years of age, he would get a 1.25 kg laddu as reward, and at 80, he achieved the highest civilian award in India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. The lineage on his father's side was full of great Sahnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan acquired the skill of playing the Sahnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Sahnai player. He played the Sahnai in the court of Bhojpuri king or Bhojpur king. His father and also paternal ancestors were also great Sahnai players. Bismillah Khan ji also started learning music at an early age. When Bismillah Khan ji was just 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house, to his maternal uncles. Maternal uncles mean the line is on one's mother's side. They lived in Banaras. Banaras is today called Varanasi. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncle play the Sahnai, he was attracted towards it and he also wanted to learn playing it. Bismillah Khan started going with his uncle Ali Bux to Vishnu temple in Banaras. Ali Bux was on a duty to play the Sahnai at the Vishnu temple of Banaras. When Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Bux play the Sahnai, he would get attracted towards it that he would sit there for hours listening to him play the Sahnai. Gradually, Bismillah Khan also started learning playing the Sahnai and he would practice throughout the day. He never got tired. He was so captivated by the Sahnai. For many years, Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Banaras. He would visit the temple of Balaji, temple of Mangla Maiya, and would remain on the bank of river Ganga, where he would practice playing the Sahnai all by himself. Here we come to know about the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga, it provoked him to improve his performance, and he also invented many rags that were considered impossible to be produced by a Sahnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan worked hard and invented different sounds with the Sahnai. When Bismillah Khan was 14 years of age, he accompanied his maternal uncle Ali Bux to Allahabad Music Conference. Ustad Fayyaz Khan, he was a renowned classical vocalist, was impressed by his performance and said that if he would work hard like that, he would make a name in the field of music. When the All India Radio started its a radio station at Lucknow, when the All India Radio started its radio station at Lucknow, Ustad Bismillah Khan started performing from there. Often his Sahnai performance would be on air. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his Sahnai. He played the Sahnai from the Red Fort on this memorable occasion. And the occasion was 15th of August 1947, the day India got independence. The rag that was played by Ustad Bismillah Khan on the occasion of the independence of India was Rag Kafi. It was Rag Kafi or Rag Kafi. He played it from the Red Fort. After his performance, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his famous speech, Tryst with Destiny. Tryst with Destiny. After his performance, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his famous speech, Tryst with Destiny. Bismillah Khan gave many performances in India and abroad. Some of them are memorable, like at one at Afghanistan. The King of Afghanistan, King Zahir Shah, really liked Bismillah Khan's performance and he gifted him many things which were made in Afghanistan, like Persian carpets, etc. So that Ustad Bismillah Khan would remember his first visit abroad, that was to Afghanistan. There were many other people also who were attracted to his Sahnai music. Gunj Uthi Sahnai was the name of a Hindi movie. Gunj Uthi Sahnai was the name of a Hindi movie. It was made by Vijay Bhatt. Vijay Bhatt. He was a film director and he really liked the sound of the Sahnai played by Bismillah Khan. And that is why he named his movie as Gunj Uthi Sahnai. There was a song in movie Gunj Uthi Sahnai named Dil Ka Khilauना Hai Toot Gaya. Dil Ka Khilauना Hai Toot Gaya. It was composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan and became a chartbuster. It broke all it, it broke all records. Although this song was a chartbuster, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film, but he composed music for only two films. The names of the movies were Gunjuti Sanai made by Vijay Bhatt and a Kannada movie made by Vikram Srinivas called Sanadhi Apna. Sanadhi Apna. Ustad Bismillah Khan would say that he did not like the artificial world of films and the glamour that was there in the film world. That was why he did not compose music for many movies. Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with awards. Bismillah Khan ji performances Bismillah Khan ji performed all over the world. He performed in United States of America at the Lincoln Center Hall. He performed in Montreal, Australia in the World Exposition. He performed at the Cannes Art Festival and he also performed in Japan at the Osaka Trade Fair. Tehran is located in Iran. Bismillah Khan was so famous all over the world that in Tehran an auditorium has been named after him. Tehran is located in Iran. Bismillah Khan was so famous all over the world that in Tehran an auditorium has been named after his name. Ustad Bismillah Khan has been awarded with these national awards like Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna, and so on. When Ustad Bismillah Khan received India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, in the year 2001, his eyes were shining. He was very happy because his hard work had been recognized and he gave an important message to the country. He told all the Indians to teach music to their children because music is the richest tradition of India. He said that even the Western countries wanted to learn Indian music. Although Ustad Bismillah Khan ji had travelled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition. He remained rooted. Banaras, where he learned music, and Dumraon, where he was born and brought up, were the two most wonderful towns of the world for him. He was so down to earth that although he had travelled all over the world, still he was attached to his birthplace. There was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan. There was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan and he wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should set up a Sanai school in USA. He promised that he would recreate the temples of Banaras in America for Ustad ji as he would miss it. He promised that he would recreate the temples of Banaras in America for Ustad ji as he would miss it. Now Ustad Bismillah Khan was attached to river Ganga also. So he asked his student that would he transport the river Ganga also to America. So he wanted to say that he could not leave India. He was attached not only to the temples of Banaras but also to the holy river Ganga. Ustad Bismillah Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he longed to see India. He wanted to return to India. And then he said that when he was in India, in Mumbai, he yearned to visit Banaras and the Ganga river. And when he was in Banaras, he missed his birthplace Dumrao and the mutt where he sang Chaita and was rewarded with the laddu of 1.25 kg weight by the Maharaja. Here the writer says that Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. His work was beyond the religion barriers. Although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws, but every morning he would pray the Sahnai at the Kasi Vishwanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. He considered music to be India's richest cultural heritage. Ustad Bismillah Khan had been ill for a long time and he died on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. The entire country mourned the death of legendary musician. The entire country mourned means lamented, the death of legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day and he was given a state funeral.